and you're going to need to be able to actually watch the game, and not as a fan, but to learn your position, learn the tendencies that we'll talk about, learn how the teams plays, how your team, their team, all those type of things. So as we go over this, make sure if you need to ask questions, ask it. You can unmute, like I said, unmute yourself, ask the question, and then mute yourself again, especially those of you that have a lot of background noise. Make sure you're able to do that. So our first one, this is my one of the little favorite quotes so you can see it, because it pertains to us as goalkeepers. Everything that can be counted does not necessarily count. Everything that counts cannot necessarily be counted. So that's huge for me as a goalkeeper, because what that means to us, or me, and then hopefully it can mean a little bit to you guys, is that everything is counted. So basically, if we look at stats, it's all about the saves and how many saves that person made, and that's all that gets counted into the stat books. That's what gets counted into the record books, those that actually used to be in newspapers. Now it's online, you can see how many saves you made. But that really doesn't say much, because we could still lose just because you saved 10. If one goes in, we lose 1-0, then oh well. But the bigger thing is everything that counts cannot necessarily be counted. So that's what we're here for, is the tactical part. The one things of positioning correctly, being a little higher off our line for a cross, reading the cross, being able to communicate to our players how to organize before the cross happens, so that when the cross ball comes in, everyone's organized, so that maybe I don't need to save that shot. So the little things, being higher off my line, so when the through balls come in, I'm able to just gobble them up, no big save, I just take care of it, and everything's good. Everyone doesn't really necessarily see that. Nobody counts that. I count them, but nobody else will count them in the stats. Therefore, it goes unnoticed to most. But that's a huge part of our game, and the ones that want to move on and be at a higher level, that's the biggest part of our game. So that's just kind of a little quote that I like, so I put it up there, because why not? It's my drill. So we move on. So when we do our analytic feedback, it needs to be specific, structured, relevant. Okay, so when somebody got kicked out, sorry. When we start to look at our game film, we need to look at things specifically. What are we looking for? Again, we can't just be a fan. We have to actually have an idea of what we're going to be looking for that day, the structure of it. So if those of you that are playing at a higher levels and they tell you to go watch game film, they should give you some type of structure to watch, some type of form, maybe a paper, a ditto, a worksheet on what you're looking for, and then making sure it's relevant. So you're not just looking at certain things. There might be a certain reason that, hey, today I need you goalkeepers, to watch the distribution of this keeper or yourself, and let me know. So don't just start watching the game and see how many great saves you made, but is it relevant to what we're actually trying to accomplish? And if we're able to actually do all that, then it gets to the point where it's beneficial, informative, and then it does help and enhance our performance. Because now, us as the coach, and also you as being able to self-assess yourselves as goalkeepers, you're able to now start to find the benefit from the game film. You're able to see certain things it can be very informative, because it's objective, which we'll talk about in a second. It's facts. So you're going to be able to see things, that coach might have said one thing, but the film proves it. You might disagree, but the film proves it. Enhance our performance just because of the analysis. So just a background of kind of when we start to watch these games, it is a skill. It is something that needs to be learned, and it has to be taught. And so it's not just about us, again, watching. So the benefits of having it, like I just explained, it's an objective point of view. So it's based on facts. It's not opinion. So subjective would be more of opinion. Coach says, hey, if you would have been off your line, you would have saved that. And then you watch the game and you were off your line. The ball maybe was tailing away and it was just a great shot. Maybe it was more that you weren't set correctly. So it wasn't what the coach thought it was. That's more an assumption. And the game film will actually show you the actual fact, and that's what we're trying to do. And then it helps us develop such as a feedback, right? So when we watch it, we're able to see the game performance, can we do better game performance, obviously. So next time around, if I didn't talk well enough, and that's why we were unorganized. Now I know I need to talk more. If I was way too off my line and I was getting chipped, then maybe I need to figure out, okay, if there's no pressure on the ball, do I need to be a little bit back closer to my line so I don't get chipped? Do I need to be high enough off my line so I could go get the through ball? So preventing injury. So why we write that is that, again, the higher off our line we are, maybe the quicker we could get out to that through ball so we're not throwing our body on the ground every single time, throwing our head into the player's foot. It does prevent injuries. Are we able to have a better setting position? Are we able to have a better angle so that we don't have to dive and get so crazy time after time again, which, again, those of us that continue to play all the time know that your back hurts, your hips hurt, your shoulders hurt, and it's because we dive too much. So can we prevent injuries by just making sure as we watch the game film, if I'm in a better position, can I prevent having to do so much work? And then it shows the match-related actions, again, like we just talked about. So you're able to see everything live, and when coaches do speak on it, now it goes back to our being objective. So a few little facts or a few little points what we talked about. So here's why we're here. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to break down number one thing, and this is the reason why we're going to talk about this, and I put this in is because what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks is I've been watching tons of videos. I've been asking for the DA games from certain people, for certain coaches, college games, pro games, high school games, you name it. And the biggest thing that I continue to see, even from the DA down, is that the video angles must show the goalkeeper. Okay, so can you guys, let me put my little laser printer so you can kind of follow them. So you must be able to show the goalkeeper. So if all of a sudden you can't see us, the goalkeeper's positioned without the ball. So when the players have the ball and they're knocking the ball back and forth, knocking it around, and they're more in maybe our defensive third, if the game film is so narrow to the play, it doesn't help me at all to see where my position is. So that game film at that point, I'm not even going to be looking at my position off the ball because I can't. So again, when we talked about the relevance, this would be a factor of what the relevance is because of the video. Starting position off of counters, you know, if once again it's too narrow and I don't even see where I am on the counterattack until the ball's inside the 18, now I get to see it. I could assume obviously I was too deep, but I can't get a clear picture of maybe I was high and then I ran back way too soon. We don't know because the camera angle. So if it's a wide angle, we can see it. If it's not wide, we can't understand it. Positioning from the goalkeepers, the team set. So the goalkeeper's team set play. So basically that would be offensive set play. Where are we on it when the ball's in the attacking third or the middle third? Are we able to see that on the game film? That one is not always as important, but it is to the point where if we're in a good position and some reason we get counterattacked, what we talked about on the counterattack, then that would decide why we weren't able to gobble up that ball off the counterattack. The angles of support. So are you available for the pass back option? That's basically would be your angle of support. A lot of times when I was watching games, there's so many times that you don't even see where the goalkeeper is now, so the ball's played and now you see where he's at, but it wasn't early enough. So again, it doesn't give me a perfect objective view to be able to assess that, okay, I was in a good supporting area. And then the communication, if we don't have audio on the game film, that's okay because you should be able to see the body language, maybe showing the movement of the hands, the pointing, the gestures, meaning so if I'm telling people where to go, I could still organize them and you could see me doing that in the game. You could see that I'm actually trying to get my people that go for it. So the communication for that is going to be huge in that part of it, not just, like I said, audio style. Is everybody okay? Is it too small? We're good, okay. And the last thing that we were watching on the first little clips that we do is organization on a defensive set play. So where is our positioning? Did we set the ball up? Did we set up our wall? Did we set up everybody correctly? Again, are we able to see that communication with the gestures or movements or just the body language? So as we're watching the first clips, what we're going to be looking for again, it's just the angles. Are we able to make a good assessment off of the 6 things that we just stated from the angles of the game film, right? So just to give you a little idea of what we're talking about before I show you the game film. I made a little drill. I love my little drill thing. So as you can tell, it's narrow. They're kind of just, all you see is the ball. And we watch. So we play a little up back through on this little part of it, where you'll see them pass it up. Everyone runs, plays it through. Oh, there's a runner, takes off. Good touch. Still can't see the keeper. Still can't see the keeper. Still can't see the keeper. Runner's coming in. There he is. Oh, and he's beat. So we just show this because, again, it's a easy way for me to explain it. As you're going to watch the game film, that's going to be a lot faster. But I saw this many times on the things that I watched of the probably 30 different games I was watching. Not necessarily these ones. So now, as we watch again, camera view, he's out, we can't see, still can't see, and so he's beat. So even though we get scored on, and that's what the coach is going to yell at us about, we have no idea how to fix that, and that's what we're trying to understand and get to, right? So how do I fix that? So if it would have been a broader or a wider view, like it should have been, like we want, now we can see where the keeper is. He's on his line. He's ready. He is moved. He's coming over. Now we actually see, oh, he's a little bit far. There he goes. Now is the transition a problem? Looks like the transition to get across was a problem. He wasn't set before the ball was hit, and he gets beat. So at that point in time, you as the goalkeeper and as the coach is watching it, you're able to definitely be able to assess that and take that into effect that, okay, my angle looked good on that part of it. My transition was what faulted, and then I wasn't able to set. So that helps us. Another one that's too tight. You can't see it. He plays it up, plays it back, plays a little through ball to the guy. Where's our keeper? Did he initiate contact? Did he come out? There he is. He didn't even move. So again, once it's narrow like that, it's way too hard to see. Once we open it up, if the game film is played correctly, now I can make a better objective view of it. I'm able to see what's happening. I see my goalkeeper. My goalkeeper still hasn't initiated, and now he engages. Now it's probably too late, and he gets beat. So at that point in time, all of us can make the assessment that what happened, what could we do better, and how we can start to fix it. We keep getting people kicked out tonight. You guys got to tell everybody to stop watching all your Amazon Prime and Netflix while we're trying to do this so you don't get kicked out. Okay, so let's move on. So this is going to be another one of the forms. If those of you that printed them out, you should be able to see it. This is what we'll work on, and we'll talk about this as we get into the game because there's so many of them. So what are we looking for during the game, right? So the technical areas, the ones that we pretty much should already know. Tactical areas, you have anything crossing positioning. We're looking for timing. We're starting to understand soccer knowledge, which maybe would be the defensive principles, the attacking principles. Maybe we're just trying to understand the systems of play for both teams that we're always watching, our team as well as the team that's playing in the game film, the style of play, the team's tendencies, set plays, how many come in the attack, the through ball positioning, crossing tendencies. Do they run near post, far post? Do they do early crosses, in-game crosses? Are they flat? Do they do the cutback cross? And then their positioning in the thirds, defensive, middle, and attacking thirds. So we're looking for all that when we're breaking down the game film. Again, this is a lot to watch as a game film because we're not done yet. We still have to check out our communication. Again, the audio, if you're able to hear it, perfect. It's easier for you to deal with. You're not always going to have the audio, but you will be able to see like we talked about, the gestures and the movements and the body language. Insight. So the insight, what this does, this is more of what we are learning from the game film. So we're starting to learn from watching the game that, okay, every time I receive the ball, I just right away I throw it out. No, don't I need to slow down the game at some point? Or do I just wait every single time and I have no clue that there was somebody open for a counterattack? Do I know when to speed up the game? The game film is going to start to let me understand that, oh, there's times when I need to actually do these type of items. Switching the point of attack when I save from one side and go to the other. When do I do a counterattack? When I go straight back from where it came from. Those that have been listening to the Zooms, we've talked about this. So everything that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, we're putting it all together now. So starting to understand the tendencies between our backs, our midfielders, their forwards, their midfielders, and then just again, when we able to keep the same pace. Am I understanding the flow of the game? Do I have a good grasp on it? Do I keep playing when I need to? Do I need to slow it down when I need to? So it's just kind of understanding the pace of the game. So this is a lot. Like I said, this is why we try to break it down. Tonight, a lot of stuff that we will be doing is we're going to look at the angle, of the game film, and we're also going to be breaking down what we'll go over right now. So,
Coach,
we'll
I
say
have a
that for a little bit.
question.
So, question.
While we're watching the game film, do we have to answer all of the sheets, or like one at a time?
Nope. So the first one you're going to answer, like, see how this one says activity 1?
Yeah.
You're going to do that first sheet first. So you won't be doing it all. Don't worry. Like I said, it'll be crazy. That's why we're breaking this down.
All right.
So on this one, you're not going to go on the group rooms for this one. This one, we're doing it together, just so, like I said, so we can start to have an idea. We can learn. We can have a better kind of when we present it, and hopefully to each other, we're able to articulate and have a better idea of the terminology that I'm asking. So this is the one we're going to use, right? So everything that we talked about in the beginning with the video on the camera angles, here's all the items that we talked about, okay? So when we watch the game films, real easy on this one. You're just going to make a little tally mark. We all know what a tally mark is, like a little line, just line, because you might see a few of them. Every time you're able to see the goalkeeper in position without the ball, you should just mark yes. If it's in the defensive third and you can't see the goalkeeper without the ball, or middle third, you should be pushing no. So you should be constantly making notes on all the items that we've talked about. There's going to be, I believe, 3 different clips that you're going to be watching. So there's a few of them. And at the bottom, once we're done with all the game films, just total it up for yourselves so we can have an idea. You'll talk about that in the breakout rooms when we go to them first, and then you'll also talk about each item that we will discuss a little bit later. So, is everybody ready for that paper? Hopefully we all are good. All right. So we play. So our first little clip, again, it's a college game. So college games should have a little bit of a better filming. This one was actually a college game on TV, so you better have a better filming, but as you'll notice, not always. Did somebody get kicked out? Somebody keeps getting kicked out. Sorry. So again, you're just trying to assess on angles of the camera when you're seeing the keeper do certain things. This one even gives you a quick little replay. Now, if we were able to see replays, then that would be better for us. But if we're watching game film, we're not going to always get to see replays unless we're watching it from a pro or a collegiate athlete. So you saw that there was the angle of support. I'll help you on some of them. You can see that her communication was showing. see. There it is. There she is. This one's easy because we keep letting you see replays, just in case so we have an idea. Again, this is just kind of our easy demo so we can get understanding it, because they're even watching 5 different items. It's hard to continue to watch and see. Take it down the flank. There she is again. You finally see her. So you get the now, even though this was, like I said, kind of an easier one to see. Well, maybe easy for me. I shouldn't say that, but it did have a replay, so it was a little bit. There was specifically why we showed this one is because if anybody, does anybody notice what you saw mostly in this game? What did we see mostly in this game? You guys are unmuted.
Really moving.
Goalkeeper wasn't moving, correct?
Yeah, for Missouri.
For that one that's in this on the screen right now?
Yeah, she wasn't
Right.
really moving like across the road from crosses. She tended to be just in the same place.
Okay. Anybody else? Something else? Anybody see something?
Really directing her players to cover on the cross.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of ball watching. She would just watch the ball totally. She didn't even continue. She didn't show an organizer players at all, right? So she was just kind of watching. We'll continue. Sorry, go ahead. I had you muted. Say that again. Anybody say something? Oh, you're still unmuted. There you go. Now you can
The goalie. The goalie who's not on the screen right now did a good job of like showing without the ball and communicating.
Okay.
Yeah, she had good like movement, like opening up for passes.
Did you guys notice? So we talked about earlier on the one screen that had all the items for technical, tactical, the communication, and the insight. If you notice, we talked about tendencies. What was the tendency that you saw going on during this game? Or style play? What was the style that you saw?
It was passing from Alabama.
Say that again. From Alabama, they did what?
Yeah, they were passing, like they made triangles and they switched the play. And they tried to hit it to the right side and cross. Alabama's right.
So that was a huge tendency. So everything was down the right side that you saw, and everything was to cross. Okay, so as goalkeepers, as we're watching our game film, those are those tendencies that we're talking about. That okay, can I realize that this type of team, once they get the ball down into those flank areas and those channels, and they continue to try to cross, I need to make sure my game is as such where I'm already recognizing it, where I'm already organizing, I'm already set, because it continues to happen time and time again. So when we start to see these tendencies of teams that want to play down the flanks, or maybe the teams that want to play like up, back, through, play the little through balls, maybe they play direct all the time, those tendencies that we see and we realize in game film or ourselves watching the game or playing in the game itself, those are things that we are going to be huge for us to make sure that we're on point and being prepared for all that. So we move on, because that was only the first one. Oh, they lost. They got a little picture. We don't need to show it again. Okay, so did we go back to the same one? This is the same one. Next one. Same game. This one's, hopefully I don't think I made this one as long. This is only a minute. So some of them should only be about a minute long. So I only want you, basically what we're trying to look at for right now is the angle. So if you see the goalkeeper, yes or no, during goalkeeper position without the ball, anytime you see a starting a counterattack, are you seeing anything? Set play. Is a throw in a set play? Yes. I think I have you muted, but throw in is a set play, right? For some teams, they live and die by the throw, the long throw. Oops, I unmuted you and it stopped. So we have set play. Again, can't see the keeper. All they want to do is show the girl, and you'll see why, because she likes to do a little flip. So obviously everyone wants to see that. But now we didn't get to really see what happened. And she got beat. Now on that, if we didn't have the ability to have replay, because we're going to see a replay right now, we would see the goalkeeper look like she was set. She was ready for the ball. The ball was hit, and she got beat. Looked like she kind of dove weird, but then coach probably yells at us. But what we don't know is that it deflects, right? So you'll see the replay right now. Done looking mad. A little flip. Everybody's set. She looks good right there. In position, ball's hit the opposite way. Technically, she doesn't do well, but tactically, she was set correctly. She was in a good position. Once that ball is deflected and hit, she probably would have been able to step and use that left hand and just pop it over instead of try to do an acrobatic dive to her left with her right hand higher, which it wasn't, but that's a different time. So we saw a quick little thing there. Again, you should have saw, if we're asking about in a game film, I want to know how your position is on set plays. Once again, were you able to assess that? Because we couldn't see it, because they wanted to show the girl do her little flip. Our next one. Wait, this is the same one, sorry. We got to show the girls and the guys, because we're just keepers. So this one, set play. Saw for a second that it was wide, and now we play. We can see him in the flow of play. Oh, we're on a counter. Can't see anybody. There he is. Oh, we got lucky.
Oh, I saw him on the counter. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, don't be telling the answers over there. I can hear you guys.
Yes.
So we're going to show that one again, because I want you to understand as we're doing this, and although we're looking at the game film by the angles right now, we're always trying to learn. So we see it's a set play. We see that he's pointing. He's saying things. He was telling them how many should be in the wall. So we saw him actually communicate and doing what he should be doing. So at that point in time, he's set. They play short. He's in a good position. High ball in. We do well at that point. They counter. Now, once again, we're not involved with this game as much, or this team as much. And so we could say, if we're watching this for just us watching, we'd say, why was the keeper stayed so deep the whole entire time? But in actuality, if you know your team, and that's what we talked about, once again, the tendencies. If I know that my center backs are athletic like no other and faster than most forwards, then maybe I don't have to worry as much there. Maybe I know that there's no way that they're going to lose the ball. I'm okay. I could situate myself and sit. I could just direct and tell them to hit it away, or I could do whatever I need to do. I didn't need to be that high off my line. So maybe that was what happened there. It looked like he was pretty comfortable, and I'm not letting you see this whole game, but if you do watch this whole game, is Kentucky's two center backs are pretty good. So again, tendencies when we're watching the game film, it's not just about ball watching. It's actually understanding, if I'm watching the game of my own team, I'm starting to see every time that my center back gets the ball, maybe they always want me to come out and they shield the player. If I know that my center back constantly shields the player for me, then I should have a little bit more confidence that I should go out and get those through balls, because I know that he has my back or she has my back, that they're going to shield them. So again, the tendencies of watching our team and their team is huge for watching game film. So it's not just saving the shots, it's not just saving the crosses, it's a whole entire process, and that's what we're trying to get to here. So we move on. Next one. because we want to show the little kids too. Not too little, but they're kind of little. So this is a DA game. Again, we see that now you see the keeper. He does my favorite kick save and got beat. That's another topic though. So this is something like we said, if we're in DA. So this is a DA semifinal, and is the camera showing what we needed to show as goalkeepers? At that point, not really, but we will get to see a replay, which luckily for us, they're going to show the replay, and then now maybe we could break that down. So at this point, it's subjective. We can make assumptions. The coach is making an assumption, but now at this point, we could be a little bit more objective to say, okay, did I need to be that high off my line at that point in time? Was he going away from the goal? Was I okay, or was it just my technique? So those are issues that you would look into and saying, what could I have done better? We move on. Ball's being knocked in the middle third. Obviously, we cannot see the goalkeeper because of the ball. The angles are so narrow, so we don't know if they're high enough off their line. So this is that part that we talked about on balls in different areas. Where are we at? We're not going to know. So unless someone puts the camera behind the goal so we can see ourselves, which we'll talk about later, that's huge. So we still can't see anybody. So I'm letting this game go for like 3 minutes, just so you know. So be able to watch everything that you see. Counterattacks, if you felt that was, or just a regular attack. You still can't see the keeper, so is he in a good position to be set when the ball is getting that close? For two teams like of this caliber that like to knock it and play quick little 1-2s, those are the ones where the goalkeeper, and you can see him now, he's high off his line, so we could assume that he does well, and he's always off his line. What's he do there? So we see that he's actually showing for angle support. And even at that point, so we're showing the angle support. Should he have supported there? Are you guys supporting there? So if you receive a ball and you know that your team is going to knock the ball very well and you have confidence in them, then maybe you show as wide as he did. I personally think he was a little too wide for that, but that's why they're the Barca Academy. They like the little tiki-talk. Obviously, right now, you're not going to have to worry about putting anything down. We're looking more into like this, the defensive third. If things are happening, do we see him supporting? Can't really see it, but we knew earlier that he did. There's the coaching staff. It's always nice to see them. He shows for angle, receives it. Looked weird, but he did well to get there. Sorry. You guys need to be, did somebody have a question? I wasn't looking at the little comments over there. Angel, did you have a question? Joe, do you have a question? Did somebody have a question on that? Did I miss it? You have to unmute yourselves.
I did not have a question. I think someone else did, though.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. I couldn't mute myself for some reason.
Okay.
Are we going to discuss the answers at the end?
We are not really, this one, not really discussing much other than me discussing it live. But the other, we missed the goal. So mute yourselves unless you're going to ask a question. So we see the replay. So it was kind of a quick counter. He comes out, notices that the ball's going away from him, comes out wrong. He retreats. It's too late. We can see how the path of the ball is going away. So there was really no reason for him to actually go out for that. I think I've shown this one before so we can see it where you actually could see. Oh, did I go too far? Let's see it again. So because the ball is going away, there really is no reason for him at that point to take off, especially because he had help. At that point in time, he should have been more aware that as the ball is going away from somebody, they're more likely to hit a ball across the goal mouth. By him stepping out and trying to take it, now it changes the whole game. Now the guy sees that there's an opening. He's able to slot it near post. Really shouldn't have been a goal. He knows better. He's from our local area, by the way, and he moved to Seattle to play with the Seattle team. So he's out. Now he's trying to retreat. Too late. Goal. Luckily, we have the ability to see a replay. If he was to watch this game and didn't have a replay, he probably wouldn't be able to see exactly what happened. So again, angles are important. So who still needs to mute your phone if you need to? Or I can mute you for myself. There you go. Unless you have a question, unmute yourselves. So the first part of what we just talked about, it's a huge thing that if you think you're going to watch games of yourself, that if you're not having the correct camera angle, which would be beneficial to be maybe behind the goal, and if not behind the goal, being high. You don't need to be seeing such meticulous little details that you can't be high up in the stands if you were playing in a kind of a stadium type area, or if the team has one of the Sky, whatever video things that they have. You need to be able to see your movements, your positioning. You need to be able to see, like we just talked about, all on the counterattacks, the angles of support. Are we communicating? What is our organization looks like on our defensive set plays and the balls when they do not have the ball, or when we do not have the ball, sorry. So the camera angle is huge, and if it's not appropriate, then it's not going to really be much benefit to you as the goalkeeper. So you might be sitting in a game in a room with the rest of the team, and you're really just there to learn the game itself. So, because you're not going to see anything else. We can't unmute ourselves. What? Sorry. All right. All right. Go ahead. Did somebody have a question? No? Good.
Jeff.
Yes.
My dad films games from behind the goal, and he usually starts recording when the ball gets past the half. Is that about right, or should he start earlier?
When the ball is at half?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So he's just trying to get certain clips. He's not trying to record the whole game.
Just my stuff.
Just your
Like,
stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I would say there's going to be times, depending on how you play. There's times where I watch goalkeepers be beyond their 18 when the ball's on the other side of the half. But once the ball crosses our half, they retreat like all the way to the 12, and those are items that you'd want to see, that you're like, you need to stay higher longer type issue.
Yeah.
If he's able to capture that, then I think it's adequate. But you're anywhere that the ball is probably in the middle third, almost into your attacking third, going into the middle third, that's where he probably should start it.
Okay, thank you.
If that makes sense.
Jeff, I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a preferable angle, like an angle of recording?
Just like I said, I think it's as long as, so if you don't have the ability to be higher or the ability to pan out as far as needed, if you could be behind the goal, then that would definitely be a good one. But if you're able to be at midfield and be high enough, it's still going to be adequate, and it does its duty. If you're behind the goal, then it's good. If they're totally in the net, it kind of might be a little bit different, but
All right,
Just
thank
if you noticed, some of those were, we just don't want to be so narrow and so much just on the ball. We want to be able to see what we're doing in the certain thirds of the field, especially in our defensive third. So what the next part that we're gonna look into, we're not gonna, on Monday, that's why I told you guys need to do both of them. Monday we will do number 2. Tonight we're doing, so when we watch game film, we're gonna understand that the visual will show the demands and needs of the team. So what does that mean versus when we're watching game films to start to investigate your needs? So when the demands and needs of our team, we'll show you right now. What is that? So we're starting to understand playing out of the back. Does our team, our style, we could play out of the back and still play short or long, but how do we want to play? So when we're playing out of the back, we have to start to understand our tendencies. You know, the team gives options all the time, and we're going to be able to play short all the time. If the team doesn't give options but wants to play out of the back, maybe they want to go more direct, or we have number 2, or their goal is to get the ball in the attacking third as quickly as possible. So as we're watching the game film, what coach is asking for in practice, and this is probably when you guys will be sitting, if you guys sit in game film and you listen to the coach speak, these are the things you're going to start to understand and hear, which should pertain to you, because you're going to need to know that if I'm playing the ball out of the back, then I need to make sure I'm always asking for the ball so I could be able to play short or play long, depending on our style. It's important that if we're trying to play direct, most of the time, if a team is looking to always get into the attacking third as quickly as possible, that means they're probably going to be higher off the field. They're going to be higher up pressure. So we as goalkeepers will probably have to be starting higher off the field, higher in our positioning. So if through balls happen, we're able to get it, and we're able to start knocking it back out to the flanks, or out to the attacking third, or deep into the middle third. So that's what it means by playing direct. We also want to look at our field, the high amounts of pressure. So if a team is your team and the attacking team, so how is the team coming at us? So are they high pressuring us? Or is it low pressure? You know, line of confrontation versus the line of restraint. Have anybody heard of those line of restraints and line of confrontation? You guys are, I think, most of you unmuted, so does anybody know what the line of confrontation is?
I assume coaches don't chime in.
Coaches can't chime in yet.
Yeah.
We're hoping all these goalkeepers that are supposed to listen to the coaches know what that means. By speaking, has anybody heard those 2 terms before? Yes or no?
Partially, yes.
Yes. Okay. So if you've heard them, do you feel comfortable explaining what that means?
Line of confrontation is pretty much when you start to come out, but not fully. You just kind of start to come out, kind of like press them, kind of force them to make a decision.
Okay. Anybody else? Actually, that's not necessarily. So again, we're talking about.
So are we still gonna have time for the breakout room?
What's that?
They're doing the breakout room. We're doing them anyways.
Johnny, do you know? Because you're unmuted now, right?
Yeah. Well, line of confrontation is when the team, or when the team feels right where we can start pressing. So say we're on, or they're in their defensive third, we won't press yet until they start coming into the middle, and we'll start. And that's when we start putting our numbers up and trying to get the ball back, or make a mistake. Or line of restraint is basically like where we don't want, like, well, I think line of restraint, I think I use it in a different term as like where we need to be if they reach a certain part of the field, and where we can't go. Like if they're on the right side, we want to shift over to the right side and leave that as the area, I'm guessing. Right?
Close. So basically the line of confrontation, he's correct. It would be if we are going this way as us in the goal as the goalkeeper. We're going that way. Okay, so you guys can see my little box I made, correct? Everybody can see that?
Yes.
My drawing? Okay. So line of confrontation would mean if they're way back here with the ball, where is our line? Where are we going to start to pressure like Johnny talked about? We might not want to pressure until the ball is closer to the midfield. So that would be our line of confrontation. Line of restraint is the opposite one. That would be our defenders. So that means defensively, where are we going to actually want to be to be prepared? So how far back are we going to be? So our line of restraint. So our line of restraint, basically, so we put it together. So at that point, when the two come together, then that's what creates our team shape, and that's what creates our team compactness. Right? So it's important that us as goalkeepers, we start to understand when our team is supposed to be confronting the other team, and how high should my backs be. And if my backs are way up here, I can't be on my goal line. I need to be higher up. So that's what's huge when we watch the game film is obviously we should know by whatever is going on in the practice where we're starting our pressure compared to where our defensive line is going to start. That's where we should be. If they're going to be very deep and everyone's laying off because they just let them knock it, then we don't have to be as high as usual because our back four might be close to our 18 because our forwards might be inside our own half. So that's going to be a huge thing. So again, if we don't understand those concepts, those are things we have to understand as we watch the game film so that we could better ourselves and we're understanding the demands and the needs of the team. And then the last one, number 4, let me erase that all right there real quick. So long periods of time without direct involvement. So this one's huge because a lot of times we might not get much action. You know, the game might be in hand. You know, we're winning. But what we have to always worry about is that we at those point in times, our field players do make mistakes. So we have to make sure we're involved. We have to make sure we're in a position where we could react if needed, engage if needed, and we have to always be prepared for the counters. If people have our little confrontation line, maybe there's the opposite where they just sit the whole time because they're gonna try to counter. So we might not see the ball for like 15, 20 minutes at a time, and then the next thing you know, they break. And did you continue to make sure that your line is high enough with our line of restraint so that you're always able to engage and be prepared? So as we watch these next clips, that's what we're going to be starting to watch and look for is how do we watch our game film for the team itself to make sure we're able to do it.
Yeah.
Mute yourselves, so I don't have to mute you. We move on. Oh, sorry, I went to. So the other one that we're going to talk about, but not tonight, on Monday but I just want you to see it because this is the difference. So when the video helps investigate your needs. So investigating, obviously we're starting to figure out what went wrong, what's going right. You know, our technical part, our handling, our shot stopping, our positioning on the field, what we look like on our 1v1, saving it, our angles of approach, the timing and the style. All that's going to come into effect when we watch stuff on Monday and actually talk about it. Crossing, our distribution, our set plays, our communication is always there. You always see it. So that's a whole nother talk and a whole nother topic, and that's why I said we're separating them because there's just too much. So if you had to watch all that in one session, then I figure you probably are not going to learn what you're supposed to. So just to understand, again, we're going over this tonight. We're going over this Monday. So as we do this, I've created our little breakout rooms. Let me just make sure I have people that kept getting kicked out, you're not in rooms, so I'm gonna have to put you guys back in rooms. So let me explain what's gonna happen, because you're gonna watch the clips before we go in the room. So we're gonna have. So I'm gonna put you in a room because I gotta tell you who's in room A and B and C and D, because the rooms that are A and B will be watching the yellow team. Okay, you saw them a little bit earlier. The rooms that are C and D, you'll be watching Kentucky, the white and blue team, right? For both, you're gonna see two different parts of it, two different games. So you're gonna be watching at the same time. You're gonna watch the A and B, you're gonna be watching the yellow team. Room C and D, you're gonna be watching the white and blue team. So you're gonna make sure that you have our next little sheet. That's why you're gonna need two, because you saw that there was two different activities that you'll see. A few games we'll talk about, and then we'll go to the room, and then we'll do the other games. So let me, for a quick second here, since we lost, people got kicked out, I need to put, Jake, you're going.
Yeah, but not me.
Oh, someone get kicked out again? Celia, you keep getting kicked out. You're in group B. Damien, you're in group D. Okay, everybody should be situated. All right. So in group A, our break room, they'll be labeled Breakout Room A, B, A, C, and D, like we showed you. We'll go back to it so you can see it, so you understand. So room A, Trevor, Hayden, Jackson, Jacob, Johnny. Coach Joe, can you go in that room with them?
Where's Jacob?
You're in that room. Oh, sorry, Cortez. Older Jacob. Are you still there, Jacob, or did you get kicked out? He's there. He just muted for some reason. Okay. So A and B will be watching the same game. B, room B. Celia, you're in room B?
Yeah.
You're still in here, right? Jesse, you're in room B? Maddie, Madeline, Maddie, you're room B. Nico, room B. Victoria, room B. Raya, your room B. Zeus, who's Zeus? Whose name is Zeus? What has his chat is going error? Well, you're in room B, Zeus. Room C. Daphne, your room C. Dimitri, your room C, as in cat. Kathy, your room C, as in cat. Maddie Jern, your room C. There's only 4 of you in that room. Some people I think they're getting kicked out. I think G got kicked out again. She did. She'll be in that room when she comes back. And room D, Dalton, Damien, Dustin, George, Jacob. Now you're in that one. Carter and Robert, you're going to be in that room. Coach Angel, can you go in that room with them? I'm going to put you in there with them.
Oh, they're not gonna meet myself.
So,
oh, which room? Sorry.
In D, as in dog.
Okay.
So, again, I'm not going to put you in the rooms. I just told you what room you're in because you're going to be watching, like I said, as you're watching the game film, you're going to be watching, if you're watching the yellow team, you're watching the yellow team's goalkeeper, you're watching the yellow team's team itself, and then you're watching how the blue and white team comes at you with their pressure, no pressure, the confrontation, their line. You're going to be watching, trying to assess all that. So make sure you understand that. And then, like I said, C and D, you're watching Kentucky, the white and blue team, which you're watching their keeper, but then you're also watching how things happen with them against Lipscomb. And if you'll see, where's our little page, sorry, you'll be able to put, so when we're doing this one, all we're asking is when you see the task happen, you're just going to mark it in the box, right? So if you see them play it out of the box or out of the back, you're just going to have a yes, okay? If no, then you just put a no, but you have a little while, so you're just going to start watching for it. When you're only going to have, when we put outcomes, basically you're going to write as much as you can. So if you see them play it out of the back, just kind of explain why. Okay, they're playing out of the back, they played short on the back pass, they played it to the outside flank, or they played it long, they're playing direct. So you're starting to explain. So on the outcomes, you're going to explain what happened. So you're just going to say, yes, it happened, or no, it hasn't happened, or it never did happen at the end of this clip, and you have to have an outcome. That's what you're going to talk about when you go in the rooms. You're going to be able, hopefully you could bounce off each other. If you need more room other than that's in this box, write whatever you can, and just go into here if you have to, go out here if you have to. Just make sure you have an idea of whatever notes you're taking that you could be discussed when you go into the room to discuss it with each other. Make sense? Hopefully we see it, we see the task, we move. Oh, look, Victoria came back. All right, so Victoria, you're back. Do you know what room you're in? You're room B as in boy, just in case you didn't know. All right, here we go. So by the way, as you see at the top of it, you're watching, this is the first half, you're gonna watch the first 10 minutes. Okay, so you're watching basically the game for 10 minutes. So you're gonna be watching, I'm no longer talking. So you're on your own to just watch, I'm not helping unless I see something else I wanna talk about. But at this point in time, let's see what you got. College soccer counts downward. So they go from 45 down. Oops, sorry, I accidentally pushed the button. No, I am not gonna play the clip over so you could do the task. So at this point in time, you are assessing a game as if that is you in the goal. If you're watching the yellow team and you're the yellow goalkeeper, if you're the white team's goalkeeper, you are them and you're assessing on what's going on. So at this point in time, I'm asking you, can you start to assess and analyze the game and what you see from a team's endpoint? We're not really, again, we're not talking about their individual items that they mess up on. So I already put, Joe, I saw you ask how we joined the group. So I already put you guys in the rooms. Once these are over, I'll just push the button and everybody will magically go into their room. And Joe, you'll be with group A.
Goal is to get the win. Your teammate is tricky. Action can make more can see the whole game. And step up.
So Kentucky's obviously the better team, the white team. You've even noticed, if I'm the goalkeeper on the yellow team, that they've changed their style. They've actually started to pressure higher and harder. They've started to find longer balls. So that's what we talk about, that you can't check out just because you aren't in the game for minutes at a time and you think you notice this is how the team's playing, and you can kind of sit back, and the next thing you know, now all of a sudden they're trying to play a little bit more direct and try to get balls behind it, and they're starting to pressure. So have you adapted? So those are the things that you're looking for. How do you stop that? So continue to watch. So yeah, the set play, it's all situated. Oops. Let me go back. I accidentally pushed that. Okay. My fault. Here we go. What do we see there? Because we're so quiet. Anybody see something right there? Go ahead. Unmute yourself and tell me what happened. Did anybody notice anything? Or my older ones? Johnny, what happened?
I didn't really get
What
to
did the
see.
goalkeeper do wrong?
It was lagging
You
a
didn't see
little.
it?
Yeah,
I
mine
was
lied.
writing something down.
Yeah, the film was lagging.
Is it? Uh-oh.
No, it's not.
For me, it was.
Were you able to see all that?
Yeah.
What did you guys
He
notice?
transitioned well.
He was
Oh, prior. So here we go, prior. So ball's played long. Look at him. He's ball watching. Nobody is there in the back. So he ball watched the whole time. And when the ball was out wide, he never once looked to the middle to make sure everything was organized. He just continued to look straight. There was a guy all by himself at the far post. So he's just watching. He never looked. Now he looks. Now it's too late. Luckily, he missed. So again, those are the things that are we able to analyze the whole thing. Anytime there's a ball out wide, that we should just know right away, are we communicating to make sure when the ball is getting played back into the box? Are we prepared? Are we looking at the weak side? So I just want to ask a question. I don't know if that was your team or not, but so that was the first one. So basically, you should be able to write down as much as you saw certain things that were performed, right? So we did definitely saw long periods of times without direct involvement and be able to see if there was a mistake or not on counters. We got to see the pressure, the amounts of pressure. We got to see them playing direct. We did get to see people playing out of the back, so we got to see everything. Now it'll be interesting to see how you explained it and what you saw and when you saw it. So when you did see those items, that's when we were asking for you to then write something down in the outcome on 1, 2, and 3, that you noticed it, you saw that it did happen or did not happen, and the why. So that's what we're trying to analyze and start to learn. Next one.
Coach, do we have to get the new paper for this one?
This one you should have a new one, yes.
Okay.
Same team?
Now you're still with the same team. Now what we did on this one, I forgot to explain. So you're looking at the last 12 minutes of the first half. So we talk about different halves we're wanting to look at. Now, how's the team being played? You know, has the team changed their shape you're looking at now? As the team changes a different style, you know, do you see certain things differently now that they've been playing for almost 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes? You know, is there anything that you've noticed as you're looking at it? Are they still trying to play out the back? Are they still playing direct or not playing direct? Is the pressure still high? Where are their lines? So those are little things that's just as important that we start to understand, because things do change from the first 10, 12 minutes of the game compared to the last 10, 12 minutes of the half, so, and the game, obviously. Oh, somebody got kicked out, sorry. Every time I go let people in. So those of you that got kicked out, again, you should be on the activity number 2, the sheet.
Are we supposed to be on the first or the second copy?
You should be on the second copy.
Okay.
This is the second game. That's well held. Oh, I can't type. to VAR. Can you leave? If you're done, you shouldn't be done. How are you done? You continue to watch, and you should be continue to write. You said there's 3 items that you could put in there, but if you see more, continue to do more. We watch till it gets to the 5. It's on the countdown. You'll see the clock up top. Yeah, we're good. It just died. So as we watch that, I'm going to put you guys in the room so you could actually talk about what you just saw for the last 2 things. Hopefully you're able to discuss. You're going to need to create somebody that's going to have to take lead in their room that just kind of steps up and says, okay, this is what I saw, talk about it, and then start getting more people to get feedback on what they saw for each one. You're going to be in the room for the next 10 minutes to discuss what you watched, and then you'll come back out, and then whoever is going to be in charge and wants to be the leader of that group, or who was ever made to talk, you guys will be the ones that's going to give me what you saw. Obviously, rooms A and B saw the same team or watched the same team, but hopefully we get a little bit different ideas from each, and then the same with the C and D. So let me make sure there's everybody. So G, you need to go back because you keep getting kicked out. So G, you're good. Aaron. And V, you're there. Okay. Carter, you'll go there. Okay. So I'm going to open up the rooms. You guys will go into your room. So again, the breakout room is going to be, you're going to basically see there's about 5 or 6 of you in each room. You're going to just have the 5 or 6 of you that you're going to be able to discuss and talk amongst yourselves. So everyone should be unmuted when you're in those rooms. I'll jump in and take a look and see how things are going. If Coach Joe, you're in the room A with the older kids, so you can control them. Angel, you're in the younger room with group D, so you can control them. I'll jump in B and C and see how they're doing. So I'm going to open up all the rooms, so you guys will start leaving. It'll ask you to join, and you should start joining. Celia, did you get kicked out? Can you hear me, Celia? You got kicked out.
Was it long? It was.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, so we're good in here?
Yes.
Who's taking charge? Somebody take charge?
I think it's me.
Maddie, you did? Okay.
Wait, what?
None of you guys are, sure you are now.
Wait, are you asking who's the host?
You're going to host. Yeah, you're hosting this room, so take charge.
Wait, who's hosting?
Oh, let's go.
So start talking
Wait,
about
you're
somebody,
a host.
whoever wants.
Wait,
Oh yeah,
Nope,
we
I'm
already done with the discussion stuff.
wait, no,
No,
we
we're
did
not.
the
Done?
first task.
No,
Well, not done, but like.
No, we're near done.
Yeah, you got 10 minutes. Have fun.
Okay. Wait, do we do the outcome now?
Yeah, that's
Oh
what
no,
you're
he
going to be
left.
talking about. So,
I think no, never mind.
Yeah, okay, bye-bye.
so you guys should be talking about each task and
All right.
say about it, playing out in the back. Did you guys see them play out in the back? Yes or no? Okay,
And
so
then
I
you
saw
do the
them play short. Got it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going somewhere else.
I also saw like that the goalkeeper would direct his center backs a lot and would show for the ball the majority of the time. Not all the time, but the majority.
How are we doing here? How come everybody's muted?
There was a lot of background noise earlier.
Oh, okay. Are we able to participate and everyone's doing it?
A couple people were able to share.
Okay. Dimitri, are you able to unmute yourself?
He's been typing in the
Is he-
chat.
I know I saw him type in the chat right now. Okay. There you are. Okay. Because I saw you type in the chat, so I want to make sure you're able to talk in the class or into the little group. All right, continue. I'm out of here. You guys will be back, and you see a little remaining time up there? It says remaining time 9 minutes. You might come in earlier.
Yeah, I see.
All right, continue.
or higher up the field. They were still playing back, but it wasn't like near the 18 or anything. Like the keeper was not playing in the back at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The center back playing instead of the keeper, really.
Yeah, they were usually at like the edge of the center circle.
Yeah.
So basically what you guys are saying is they were actually playing a bit more, but even their back line was higher up the field, but possessing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that as well too. What about going back? I mean, it's kind of like similar, but what did Lipscomb have when they were trying to play out of the back? Did they have kind of more control, or was it kind of chaotic and Kentucky was pressing them?
They had a lot of control, I feel.
Yeah, more control than they did. They got more chances.
Yeah. What I saw, exactly. What I saw is that it was almost like they settled into the game more. They were more settled in, and they were able to finally play a bit. Where in the beginning, Kentucky was throwing some pressure, and then they were having to go big. And
discussing their parts they saw in the game with each group. Let's go to one more group because they're going to be in there for another 5 minutes. So let's go to the little younger one and see how they're doing. Make sure they're okay.
What about you, Damian, George, Robert?
I
feel like, yeah.
It's for like, probably for me, it's like for when the perfect time for me to come out.
Okay, that's a good one.
I feel like how high off my line I should be at like certain times. Like,
Mm-hmm. It's a good question too. What about you, Robert? He's always muted. Or don't like to share.
what?
What kind of questions do you
How are
have?
you doing in here?
I don't have any questions.
They're doing good, Jeff. We're going over
doing well?
we're going over some questions on, questions that or concerns that they have sometimes when they're on the field, and things that they would like to know and where they should be or should not be, and so on and so on.
Oh, okay, good. All right, well, you guys can see the running clock remaining, right? So just you can come back in around 3 minutes. So finish up. I'm gonna go to the last group, and
All right.
I'll meet you guys. You'll get kicked out of the room in 3 minutes anyway. So finish up, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.
All right.
Back. We have 3 minutes left, so probably go check on one of the groups and make sure they're doing okay. Dalton, ask for help. D.
Come out. I think that was the other one, right?
Yeah, like
think
when's the
that-
perfect time to come out?
Yeah, I think Jeff had a good one. Well, obviously it's going to be dependent on where you're out on the field, right? But let's just say remember how you saw that one play where the goalkeeper hesitated to come out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that was
put him in a bad position.
Yeah, so I think that was a good one because he was going to come out and then he stopped and hesitated, and I think that gets not only you guys at your age but even the olders. So if you're gonna decide to come out, then come out. I think if he would have just come out, then that goal probably wouldn't have happened because he probably would have closed that angle a little bit quicker for him, right? But again, I think like Coach Jeff said, if your defender has pressure on a striker, even if they're close, inside the box or close to the box, then what I tell my keepers is let them do that work. That way it gives time for the other defenders to come and help out. Now, once that defender gets beat and there's no one else, then you come out because now you become the defender.
Dalton, you had a question? Who asked
No.
me? It said Dalton needs help. So here I am. Didn't mean to do that?
No.
Oh, okay. That was weird. Okay, well, you guys are all back. So finish up. We're going back in 25 seconds.
Hello.
Hello.
And we're back.
17 people now?
22. We're only missing 3 people. 23. 2 more people.
How did you know there's 25 people?
Because at the beginning, before we all like he put us in breakout rooms, I looked at it.
Is everybody out? I think everybody's out.
Apparently we have 2 more. I think. I don't know. That's what I heard.
Yes, 2 more.
We should be
I don't
all
know.
out. I think it kicked everybody out. So everybody should be kicked out. So we're
No,
back.
it says it's going to
Wait.
end in a minute and we could choose to return before that minute is over.
Done. They're gonna.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I think it
Wait a
looks like
minute.
everybody's back.
We're missing Dalton, I think.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I can't unmute myself.
You can't
Okay.
unmute yourself.
Yeah, if you mute yourself or he mutes
That's from
you, you
Nico.
can't unmute
It's
it.
from Nico.
Where is he?
He said he can't unmute himself. That's why.
Yeah, if you try to mute yourself and then unmute it, it doesn't work for me. Just to enable it.
All right. Well, I think we should all be back.
Oh, somebody else left because there was literally just 23 people left.
Yeah, somebody just left. Or she got kicked. Or he or she got kicked.
Probably got kicked
Back.
out. Was it G?
Ow.
No one's unmuted. Nico, you can't unmute yourself?
There you go.
Oh, somebody. Oh,
I tried to mute myself and then it says the host muted all attendees.
Oh,
Doesn't
probably just
know.
muted you because you talk so much. All right. So oops, wait, I went to the next part already. Who was my room A?
Your screen.
It's Trevor.
Who led the room A?
Me.
So do you want to share anything that was going on with, let's go back to our little. So we watched the game.
Yeah, yeah.
So on the task playing out in the back, did we see that?
We did. We felt that Lipscomb played more direct in that first 10 minutes. There were a couple moments where they may have tried to play out of the back. Like, for example, right off the bat, the center back played it back to his goalie or the Lipscomb keeper, and he just booted it up the field. I thought he had tons of time to take a touch and see what develops. We did notice that if the keeper got it in his hands, he did try to bowl it out. But for the most part, they were direct. And then in that second 12 minutes, it was almost like they got settled into the game, and they were able to kind of move the football around a bit more. And their back line, instead of being right on top of the 18, was like further up the field. And then we noticed that they were moving the ball around over there. So, but it was kind of like a mesh, but more direct in the beginning and that first 10, and then more possessive in that second 12.
So they look like they play a little bit more counter. What you guys say?
Well, I think, counter or just trying to avoid Kentucky's pressure, because Kentucky was a better team.
Right.
They slowly tried to put themselves into the game.
Yeah. So you could see there was a difference. That's why we showed both of them, that the first 10, 12 minutes, and if you notice, they weren't ranked, and Kentucky's ranked number 3 in the nation, so that you can right away. They were a little bit more worried and wanted to just sit and just knock it. Once Kentucky got a little bit more comfortable, you saw them pressure higher and higher, and you saw lanes start to move open. The key thing, though, is you notice that the goalkeeper for Lipscomb he never really stepped higher up. Once that second 12 minutes started, he kind of stayed deep when you saw Kentucky start playing balls longer and down the flanks, and he didn't change much. Who was my room B?
That was me.
I have a question for you guys. Do you have any idea on what system of play Lipscomb they were playing? Did you guys notice?
Wait, can you please repeat?
Room B.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Did you notice what their formation was?
No, what we talked about was our answers for the tasks performed, and the outcome.
Okay. So what did you see that they didn't already discuss? Did you guys anything else that you want to add that you saw for them that
for playing
they
out of
didn't
the
discuss
back,
that you saw?
the goalie started looking for options in the second half, or the last 12 minutes.
Yeah, he did it a little bit more frequently than he did, I guess, in the first 10 minutes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good. So for my room C for Kentucky, what did you see there?
We saw that Kentucky right off the bat was super high pressure, and they just kind of got on Lipscomb right away, and they didn't really let up. And then we saw in like the last 10 minutes, they kind of backed off a little bit, and then the goalkeeper was playing a little bit deeper and let the center backs have more time and space. But he was an option the majority of the time.
Good. Do you guys want to see the form? Someone just asked if I was sharing. I didn't show it, but that's the form. You guys shouldn't need to, but. Just in case you see it. Good. So I'll ask, room D, did you guys notice what formation Kentucky was playing? No. Who's supposed to be talking? How come you guys are telling me in the chat? I want you telling me.
I think Dalton said
Did I mute you?
he's unmuted, or he's muted.
Oh, I don't know how you got muted. You gotta mute. That means you have to mute yourself, or unmute yourself, because we're all.
Bottom left of the screen, Dalton.
I think Kentucky was playing in a 4-3-3.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Because the majority of the time the back line had two center backs, and then I wasn't really paying attention to the midfield or forward, so that could have changed up. But I noticed that there was two center backs and then two outside backs.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, a lot of times what we'll watch is how we are different from how we attack. So when they actually were kind of playing more of a 4-5-1, but when they did attack, you would see them push a little higher up, and so it did look more like a 4-3-3. So I think you could be correct on that one. Wait, people are still muted? Everyone's unmuted. You have to unmute yourself at this point. Okay, so we gotta move on because good. So the reason why I asked you guys is on the formation. It's just another thing, although it didn't state exactly that I was asking for you guys, other than looking on the back and you're playing direct, the amounts of pressure, all those actually tie in, because you start to understand, with the pressure, how many, if we're talking about high pressure and the amount of pressure, let's say it was Kentucky in that first 10 minutes, we should have been able to see how many they were sending the pressure. So was it just the lone forward by itself? Because I did notice that on Kentucky they played kind of more, I guess you could say it would be a 4-4-2, but it was a recessed or a high-low forward, which may look more like a 4-5-1. So at that point, you saw for the first 10, 12 minutes, Kentucky kind of pressured at that. They had a confrontation line right into the middle third, and only one was pushing, as the other one didn't do much. And then in the next 12 minutes that we saw, now you saw that they actually started pressure higher, and so they morphed into a little bit more where you'd see almost 3 attacking. So that's why I was saying, Daphne, you actually were correct on that. So, but it's huge for us to be able to recognize as early as possible on how the other team, their system of play, how they're playing and their style. Like I said, even though you might see them playing a 4-3-3, they might just actually be playing one up top and the other two might be dropping into the little gaps. So it might look more like a 4-5-1, but as they attack, it might look into a 4-3-3. But it helps us because we're going to need to know that information, so that do we still continue to play short? If we notice that they're starting to play higher pressure, and now our options are going to be a little bit less limited or more limited, so that we can't play the balls out of the back. We have to start playing wider or start playing longer, like you saw Lipscomb actually do in the second 12 minutes. So good. So it's a lot to look for, but it was that little worksheet was just for us so that we could start to understand, are we seeing certain things? We're going to look on the last thing, because this takes a while before we will go into. Let me go back up to the girl part. We're going to watch one more. Okay, but as we watch this one, my room A and B, you're going to be watching. So this is the girls, England and USA. Okay, so rooms A and B, you're going to be watching England. They're in red. And then room C and D, you'll be watching the USA. And they'll be in blue. So as we watch this one, you're going to be using this sheet. You're just going to, anytime you see something happen for the USA, you're going to put a U. Anything that you see anything for England, you put E. I forgot that I made, at one point, my little boxes I made too small, so I was going to make it double up, but then I made my boxes bigger, so I didn't need to double up, so you're going to see these doubled. So technically, it's only going to be shot blocking, angle play, set play, footwork, and hand position. As you see, it starts to double up. Everything else should be the same. So you would just put if you see they're positioning off across and it was for England, so you put an E in there. If all of a sudden you also see USA do it, then you'll do that. If you are able to see commands, you're not going to really hear them, but you might be able to notice in the defensive third that they're she or he, or she, because only she, they're talking. Then make sure you talk. The weak side communication, if it's a crossing issue, are they actually looking towards the weak side? So you'd write it down. And then if any type of insight you start to see, can you discuss it? On this one, any tendencies that you see, you're gonna have to make your own notes. So I wrote we're crossing tendencies, but what is that? So does that mean they're always going to the near post, they're always going far post, they're running with 2 attackers, 3 attackers, they're trying to do the cutback? What is it? So that's what that's going to mean. So as we watch the game, we'll go in that. We're going to watch the second one of them. So it'll be a 12 minutes, and we'll go into the room for less time. It'll only be about 8 minutes. We'll discuss because there's a lot more to see, and then we'll come back. Are we almost done? After this one, we are, yes. So we are actually going to watch this one. So again, England is in red, USA is in blue. So A and B are watching England, C and D are watching USA. Oops, I can't touch that and do that at the same time, sorry. Make sure you guys are all unmuted. There. All right. We continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like
just
too
slow for me.
choppy.
I mean, we can still see all the plays, but it's just a little. Sure.
I can't see like where the ball.
Now it just stopped.
Oh, I can still see it going.
No, it's going like every frame's like 5.
It's kind of like moving in a jerky movement.
I couldn't write anything down because I didn't see anything.
Yeah. It's like it's a burst camera.
Come here.
Do you guys see? Can you see my
I
screen
see your
right
slideshow.
Yeah.
now? Okay.
That's laggy for me.
Even that's laggy?
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, that's.
This
laggy.
one's fine. It's fine for me. I think it's like your internet or something.
Might be the internet. But all right, if I do it this way, I just want to see if it's better or not. But I'm just trying to see if it is.
Nope, it's
the same.
Still the same?
I think
Yeah.
it'd be better.
HC, come here. Come here.
What about this one?
It's fine for me.
It's still lagging for
It's
me.
super.
I think it's fine, but
It's not larger, it just doesn't have a lot of frames.
It's fine for me.
now
All
it's
right,
just
well, let's
stopped.
see if we
But I think that's because it's
I
paused.
stopped it.
Yeah.
I stopped it. I just wanted to see if
Yeah.
it got better. All right, let's try it then.
Ooh.
Did you unmute Zeus? Can't tell.
I unmuted everybody. Didn't
Okay, well now he's muted and would like to be unmuted.
I'm looking.
I
don't
can't see literally nothing.
It's okay.
I'm having
He has
trouble
done
taking
all
notes 'cause
caps.
it's
Like it literally.
So we are gonna go. We're gonna try this game.
Your screen is froze on my screen.
Paused it.
I pause it. Can you guys see this game better?
No, it's
No.
worse. It's
It's
way
the same
worse.
thing.
Same.
Every
Same.
5 frames.
It looks better. Mine's working fine.
Same thing for me.
Mine's working fine. Maybe it's because I'm sitting right next to my internet box or something else. I don't know.
I know, so am I.
Yeah, it's worse.
I'm sitting right next to them.
Coach, how should we take notes for this one? Because it's not U and E.
And I was just trying to see if it worked, but it's not gonna happen for you guys are all
Mine
different.
is literally mine froze. I can't.
Oh, it's still moving on mine.
I paused it. Okay, so if it's not gonna work out if we're not able to actually watch it because I muted you guys all, by the way. Because what's gonna happen is we're gonna be so behind on the lags that you're not gonna be able to see things as we needed to. So since we can't see that, then we're gonna just have to discuss and explain something. So we're gonna explain the form. So we'll move on to it and we'll have to figure out next time why you guys are lagging. Everyone must be watching Netflix at your house again. So I'll unmute all of you so you can hear me, or you could be able to talk.
Hi.
All right, so we're gonna discuss then. We're not able to watch that game because there's too many people that were it kept lagging or it kept stopping on them. So if that's not gonna happen, then I don't know what to tell you. But we'll talk about the form. But we want to make sure we do discuss right now, since it is getting late. We review it that when we're looking at the video for showing the demands of the team itself, it's just we're trying to again watch the game itself as if we're kind of not so much as a field player, but we want to be in tune with the field player coaches of what they need from us. So like I said, we did notice that they're playing that when we watched the Lipscomb and the Kentucky game. Go ahead and mute yourselves so you don't have the background noise. I hear background noise on many of you.
Okay.
So mute yourselves. So the point of what we're trying to, as a goalkeeper, trying to analyze the game for ourselves is, like I said, the team wants to play this way. How am I going to help the team to play that way? So positioning would be huge. Starting to understand the options if I'm trying to play short. If I know that the team against me is pressuring harder and higher, I can't play as short. So now am I able to play long? Do I have the options to play short? Because if they're pressuring me with what we talked about, and that's why I asked you guys how many players are coming at you, or what's the formation, that's going to be huge, because if the formation is one forward, you probably could still play short even if they have a little bit of pressure. If the team starts attacking with three forwards, then you're going to have less pressure or options, so you're going to have to play long. If your team is somebody that is playing more direct, but now every time you hit a ball long and you continue to lose it and it continues to come right back at you, you really need to make a decision at a point in time that can you play it not as direct, or can you play it maybe into more gaps or more seams, or play it a little bit more to people's feet or be more accurate. So that's going to be huge for us to start to understand. And then as we continue to talk about the amounts of pressure, being off our line high enough. If our line of restraint is high, we should be high. If our line of restraint is deep, then we could be deeper. So we just want to make sure that we're connected to our back four as much as possible. But I did want to point out that we didn't talk about with the game that we watched, the Kentucky and the Lipscomb, is that on that second 12 minutes, what we saw is that you saw huge gaps starting to form for Lipscomb, where Kentucky was able to find those holes, and that's part of our job, to making sure that our team stays connected. So that's a communication thing. Or can we make sure people are marked up? Can we make sure we continue to tell people to cover, to keep our balance, to keep our team shape? So that's on us. That if we start seeing too big of gaps, we need to fix that, because we're the ones that are standing back there. We're the ones that are seeing it. Those are things that we watch in the game film. How can we start to see such big, huge gaps in our lines? Those are things that I should be writing down. That okay, I bring that up with the team. If we watch the game as a team, hopefully the coach would obviously bring it up. But those are things that I could adjust in my game. And then a long period of time without involvement, that's what you're doing at that point in time. Even though you might not be directly involved, you're assessing. You should be knowing how many players are coming at you. You should be knowing the system of their play at that point in time. What are they playing? 4-4-2, 4-5-1, 4-3-3. What does it look like to you? Who's attacking? Are they attacking out of the flank? Are they attacking with their fullbacks? Are they playing more of a direct type of movement? Because if that's the case, then you're going to have to deal with the counters. You're able to, so even though you're not doing much for a long periods of time, you might be in the direct involvement, that's the time that it's very important that we start to watch in the game, that we're assessing, okay, well, if they make mistakes, am I still engaged? Am I still in a good position that if the ball does get bounced out, can I do something about it? Am I already proactive that if it's on the outside right side and it's a little bit tight over there and there's a lot of pressure happening on that right side, have I already looked at my left side to make sure that they're starting to drop in, that they have balanced us? So there's a lot of times that as I watch the game film, I notice that, and that's where I have to make sure that I learn the game itself. I know my team's formation, my team style, and I want to continue to provoke the actual style that the other team is playing by making sure that I counter myself, that we talked about. I think those of us that came to the distribution one, you'll saw we talked about the counterattacks versus the switching the point of attack. So that would be those things. And then again, if we're watching game film, there's certain times that, like I said, if it's a narrow game film, there's certain things that you're not going to be able to watch. So at that point in time, which we'll talk about Monday, then you'd be maybe at that day, all you're doing is looking at your distribution and how many times that you were successful at your distribution on keeping possession. That might be all you're looking for. Those are the individual needs that we talked about that we'll do the next time. When we're investigating our own needs and analyzing specific areas of your game. So there'll be times when all I'm looking at is crosses. I noticed that team, all they did was play down the flank. This is a great time for me to now switch what my analytic style is going to be for that game, for my need. And I'm going to watch everything for crossing areas. I'm going to start seeing my positioning. I'm going to start seeing my communication, my organizing. I'm going to see if once I win the ball, what does my distribution look like? Am I playing to counterattack it? Do I see that I could have switched the point of attack more times? When I do start throwing or kicking, am I accurate enough? Is it appropriate? So all of that stuff starts to happen once we've investigated our need of what needs to be better and making sure it's specific. Okay, so again, specific meaning that day it's distribution, or that game I'm watching all crosses, or that day I'm watching with a lot of the set plays. Am I making sure my walls are situated? Am I making sure that my people are pushed up to the 18? Am I making sure on the corner kicks everyone's in their areas like they should if we play a zone or if we play more man marking? So this one is going to be probably more to your benefit of what you guys are looking for. Today was more starting to understand the bigger picture. We did it backwards. I wanted to do it backwards on purpose so you could kind of see the game itself. And then this one would be, like I said, you're going to see the individual stuff. So anybody have any questions? I'm going to unmute you so you can. Questions?
I have a question, but it's not about this. It's about the DA being closed.
Okay, you can ask me later.
I am
Okay, so
exhausted.
if you don't have any other questions, yes, we went very long tonight. Actually, I knew we would, so I forgot to tell you that in the beginning. But thank you guys for trying to stay on task as much as you can, and know that if we watched the full game film, it would have been 45-minute halves, so it would have been this long anyway. So other than that, you guys are free to go. If those that want to ask me the question, I'll stay on and you can do that. Good night. See you later.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
You.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, guys.
So what's going on with the DAs? Or are you
The
not gonna
DA is being closed. And
Right.
I just wanted to ask, is it good for me to still stay in ECNL?
Well, at this point in time, ECNL is all there is going to be, so it probably will be a good thing.
Okay.
It's up in the air. I know. I mean, definitely the boys' DA is done. Well, the DA is done. Boys and girls been suspended for good. So at this point in time, ECNL is the only elite league that there is. I know USL is trying to create something going on. MLS is going to have their league where a lot of supposedly the DAs are going to go for the MLS DAs. They're going to continue going to that league. MLS, it looks like, has opened it up so that they could create a tier system, which is now going to be just like everywhere else. So just like you have for your SDCSL, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. It looks like ECNL has already adopted an actual elite ECNL, which is the DA for that side of them. And then you have the regular ECNL. So it's at this point, it's a mess, and luckily there's nothing you can do anyway because you're on quarantine. So I think you're good to just stay put until you find out exactly what where the club is going to go.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Bye.
All right, man. See you guys. Bye.